All right, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Google Next. It's day 3, and we are almost done, but not done yet because we are talking to the Pythian team here. I have Karen, who's the Field Chief AI Officer, and Paul, the CTO. Not a new face to the Ravit Show anymore.
No.
Super
Still a
excited.
fan.
Yes.
Super fan.
Thank you. Paul, I'm super excited to obviously chat with both of you and learn more about what's happening in not only just in the data, AI, governance space. I know you all have spoken to a lot of customers here, even the enterprise leaders who have been attending. But just for our audience, would you like to quickly introduce yourself? Paul, you've done that, but Karen, would you like to tell us a little bit about your role as well, and what do you do at Pythian?
Well, at Pythian, actually, I just started.
Nice.
It was a little bit, I've been calling it trial by fire. My first day was Wednesday, the first day of the conference.
Yeah.
So I've been really enjoying just getting to know the team, getting to know a little bit more about our clients and customers. It's been really exciting to be here.
What better day to start with a conference because you get to meet everyone in just one
Exactly.
place. It can get overwhelming, but I'm pretty sure you'll
Yes.
feel so good about it because it's like you kind of get to touch surface with every
Right.
stakeholders as well, right?
We're all on the same boat together. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people come into, if this is their first time at a conference like this, not my first time, but definitely getting overwhelmed with how much there is to explore, and then all the news coming at them very quick.
Okay.
Lots of news about AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Talking about news, I'm kind of pretty excited to, obviously talk about AI, but before that, I'll want to touch a little bit based on, data being the enabler for AI. What are your thoughts about it when we kind of think about, data, data security, governance piece? What are you thinking about it? What have you been hearing from the leaders out there?
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've been talking to, the leadership and partners, some of them get it and they know that they need to build a foundation, and some of them want to move really fast. But ultimately what we're finding is that we do need to build that foundation still.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, AI, we always hear that famous saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Right? So
it doesn't go away.
it
so
does
easily.
not go away. And furthermore to it, you're going to have people wanting to use that data and coming in. Now I've been calling it AI as the great data democratization, right?
Right.
You no longer need to be a data scientist to do a predictive or even a prescriptive model, but how do you know you trust your data? How do you know you trust what AI is telling you? It's all about building your foundations to get there and having strong observability and data quality.
I love it. On that point, Paul, what would you like to add? Because you've been obviously in this space for decades. In garbage in, garbage out has been forever, and it still is so relevant, right? So, what are your thoughts?
It's an amazing irony,
Right.
Because we'll have conversations about with customers with 400 interesting ideas, right? Everything from people-based automation or people productivity or process productivity.
Right.
And what is normally true is the first 350 of them are analytics, right?
Yeah.
It is a report, it is a dashboard, it is a list of things, right? The next 30 are out-of-the-box machine learning, segmentation, classification, solve my line problem. Of the 20, those are real, true AI. 15 of which they can't afford. 5 of which they can, right? Discrete, productionizable use cases.
Yeah.
And what we normally find when we do that kind of activation education is that they're not necessarily ready even for the 5. That they don't have
Wow.
the data foundations ready. They don't have access to the knowledge bases. They don't have a data warehouse. They don't have the governance place to have the data quality required to implement that. They're missing some of the prerequisites, we'll call it. So we tend to do parallel work. We'll help you with the discrete case, but we'll also help you with the foundations, with the governing environment to support that.
That is very helpful because you've touched on a very important point when you kind of think about the foundation. And I've spoken to a lot of enterprise leaders, and they've kind of had like a similar sort of problem where they obviously want to implement AI, but then the foundation itself is somewhere you kind of have missing pieces there. But I'm also curious to know how Pythian kind of solving that in terms of I know you all have all the services in place as well, but along with the product, how does that go?
So we try to solve it in 5 different ways. So the first is with a meeting with Karen, right?
Yeah.
We have the field AI team, the field CTO team that says, how do we educate you on what's real and what's not
Very
real?
important.
What's practical and what's not practical?
Yes.
And then let's look at those use cases to find the discrete ones that actually make sense.
Yeah.
Next one, let's do something obvious out of the box. Collaboration, Gemini and Workspace.
Yeah.
Let's learn prompting, because we're finding if you don't know how to prompt or prompt engineer, none of the AI use cases help.
So true.
Right? Then we go to, you also use GCP services like BigQuery and AlloyDB. Those have embedded AI functions, so let's start to get your developers,
Right.
your data scientists using those tool sets too. And then Agent Space, of course, is where we can do enterprise search holistically across the organization, and then everybody starts to get the value of AI.
Yeah, and Karen, quick question for you, because you also talk to a lot of customers, and obviously you've been talking to a lot of enterprise leaders, not only just now, but before as well.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you might have seen this common problem of even the enterprise leaders kind of feeling a little overwhelmed with the announcements and the space, how it is evolving that fast. How do you kind of keep a tap on that? Is it where, that's where the foundation game also kind of comes into the play, where you're like, okay, now let's first build the data foundation and then get into AI, the implementation, and a lot of misconceptions that they have as well.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about that?
I think as a good leader, you are not just relying on yourself, but you're building a strong team.
Right.
We often hear of this trifecta of people, process, and technology.
Yeah.
And I think that the people part of it is so fundamentally important to move forward. AI is moving so fast, it's definitely a team sport at this point.
Yeah.
And so you have to have the teams be brought up to not just be what I call data literate, but also data fluent. You
Yeah.
can't just understand what the data is anymore, it's not enough. You have to understand how to interpret it for the business
Yes.
and be able to have that fluency. So that's really where I would encourage businesses who feel, or leaders who feel overwhelmed, start with your team, get them to understand it, and then they're going to be along for the ride with you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anything that you would like to add, Paul?
Yeah, the risk of not doing the literacy work is becoming AI reliant.
Yeah.
Right, where you let AI build your code, you let AI build your BI, you let AI answer the questions without being critical, right? Without looking and saying, is it really solving this AI problem? And we use this all the time. Let's say you had 10 store lists across 10 repositories, and you said, tell me the manager's name of store 123. It's more likely than not going to be wrong, because AI doesn't really know which one's right.
Yeah.
It just surfaces that answer. So without the data literacy, data governance to know which file actually has the accurate information, then your AI reliance will be wrong. It's a risk to your organization.
Yeah. No, these are fantastic insights, Karen and Paul. One more quick question. Paul, we spoke at the start of the Google Next. You shared some amazing key takeaways from the keynote. Today we are, it's end of the conference, last day here. Any key takeaways that you would like to share with our audience in terms of what you've been hearing from obviously the Googlers, the announcements, and how do you see the next 6 to 9 months, I would say? How would that look like?
Next
but
6 to
first key takeaways and then next 6 to 9 months.
Takeaways, agents, right?
Yeah.
So don't think of sort of the platforms they make available, like Agent Spaces, Vertexes, just the platform. It's about how do I bring it together as an individual agent that a programmer would create, but even an individual create and then share in a marketplace.
Yeah.
So you'll create your own, the corporation will create some, and then you'll consume them from the marketplace. That is the new means to communicate with each other. That's the biggest takeaway. You big takeaway?
Yeah.
Definitely on the agent space side, but also on the tools that help the developers and the teams to create it, but also make it trustworthy. I saw some amazing advancements in the observability and the ability to fix bugs. I thought that was super cool. Like at the keynote, the developer keynote, there's a lot of oohs and ahs and even cheers for some of that technology.
Totally.
That the MCP, that Model Context Protocol, is also very exciting. That's going to allow us to not have to fiddle with how we're going to integrate an agent and actually make it to be activated. Now it's just there. It's there in agent space, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So I'm very excited about those things.
Love it. One more quick thing, and this could be, obviously with all the experience we all have had with the customers, but one advice for all the, the enterprise leaders out there who are wanting to implement AI, what one advice would you like to give to them?
Yeah. And I'll start, I think.
Yeah, sure, Karen.
I mean, because data and foundations of data and AI are near and dear to my heart, observability, please don't forget your data observability. Make sure that you understand that you have a feedback loop from your models.
Yeah.
Paul just said that earlier, right? Like, if you have models out there and they're just out there and agents doing their thing, but you don't have any sort of feedback loop to make sure that what the outputs are that you wanted is actually being achieved,
Yeah.
watch out.
Nice one.
Mine's much more economic. What we're finding is it's hard to get funding for the second AI project. So what you want to do is really pick the first one. A discrete, productionizable, high ROI, measured in weeks.
Yeah.
Because that first project will get you the second and third
one.
and the fourth project. That's the extra million.
I love it. A CTO talking about economics. That's something I love about doing these shows. So thanks, Paul, for bringing that up. And Karen, such great insights that you've shared. We'll keep the conversation going. But one last question, I promise. If folks want to reach out to you, where can they do that and learn more about Pythian as well? Which is the best place?
Paul Lewis, CTO, and of course Pythian.com.
Okay.
Come to us, get some work show.
Okay, awesome. Karen, for you?
Find me on LinkedIn or Pythian.com.
Fantastic. This was great. All the best for the rest of the conference. We'll keep the conversation going. Great work by Pythian. Thank you very much.
Thank
once
you.
again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.